Heartbreaking MLB moments. Over the course of Major League Baseball's history, we've seen many great moments that made us cheer and escape the troubles and worries of everyday life. However, there are those times where baseball has been front and center when it comes to heartbreaking and unspeakably sad moments. Stay tuned as we bring you some of the most heartbreaking moments in Major League Baseball history. We start with a play that changed the rules of the game. Back in 2015, as the Dodgers faced the Mets in the NLDS, veteran Chase Utley slid into second base with the intent of breaking up a double play, but in doing so, unintentionally injured Mets shortstop Ruben Tejada. Even though the Nets went on to win the series, Tejada's career was forever changed. By 2017, Tejada was out of the game for good. And as for Chase Utley, he faced the ridicule of the New York fanbase for the remainder of his career. Buster Posey is a name that comes up anytime you talk about collisions at the plate, and in this case, it changed the rules of Major League Baseball. The Buster Posey rule was implemented after Posey was run over at home plate in a regular season matchup with the Marlins in 2011. Posey, who was the best catcher in the game at the time, broke his leg and saw his 2011 season come to an abrupt end. The collision brought a lot of attention to the protection of catchers. Though this play was not malicious in its intent, Major League Baseball felt that the situation had to be addressed for the betterment of the game and safety of the players. Even though Posey went on to have a great career, which included winning an MVP, this tragic play could have turned out a whole lot worse. A tragedy that struck all Major League Baseball fans was the loss of one of the game's most dynamic pitchers, Roy Halladay. Halladay was a phenomenal pitcher and easily one of the best of his generation, as he won a Cy Young and was named to 8 All-Star games. Tragically, Halladay's life came to an end in 2017. The baseball community learned that Halladay had passed away due to a plane crash. Halladay was piloting the amphibious plane when it crashed into the Gulf of Mexico. Later, it was discovered that Halladay had a dangerous mix of prescription drugs that could have led to the crash. Though his life met a tragic end, he is enshrined in the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown. That honor was given to Halladay posthumously in 2019. Roy Halladay was only 40 years old when he passed away. Roberto Clemente is a name that seems to go hand in hand with the sport of baseball. He's a legend in the sport, known for his great ability at the plate as well as his arm in right field. But that's not the most celebrated aspect of his life. Clemente, born in Puerto Rico, always supported his home country. His philanthropy was well known and widely celebrated by fans and people everywhere. On September 30th, 1972, Clemente collected his 2,999th and 3,000th hits against the New York Mets, becoming the first Latin American to reach the feat, and he did it in his final regular season at bat. Later that year, Clemente was flying to Nicaragua to deliver supplies to earthquake victims. Clemente's plane would crash before reaching Nicaragua, killing him in the process. Though his life was cut short, his legacy is a rich one. Of course, he was inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame, but Major League Baseball took an extra step in remembering one of the great philanthropists of his lifetime. The Roberto Clemente Award is an award given to the player who personifies amazing humanitarianism. Clemente was an amazing player and an even more amazing man, and in many people's eyes, taken way too soon. Jose Fernandez was a great young star for the Marlins. The pitcher even took home the Rookie of the Year award in 2013. He was a 2-time All-Star with plenty of opportunities ahead of him in his young career. That all changed in the early morning hours of September 25, 2016. Jose Fernandez died in a boat crash, and this event shocked the baseball world. The Miami Marlins made many tributes to the young star. It was later discovered that Jose Fernandez was drunk while driving the boat and also had cocaine in his system. The crash not only killed Fernandez, but also 3 others that were on the boat. He is still remembered by Marlins fans who wonder what might have been. This has to be one of the most heartbreaking losses in recent memory. On July 1st, 2019, baseball fans learned that Angels pitcher Tyler Skaggs had passed away after being found unresponsive in his hotel room. This shook the Anaheim club, who wore a number 45 patch on their sleeve for the rest of the season, amidst other tributes to the young pitcher. It was discovered later that Skaggs had been under the influence of fentanyl, oxycodone, and alcohol, which led to asphyxiation and ultimately his death. In 2022, Angels doctor Eric Kay was sentenced to 22 years in prison for providing Skaggs the drugs that took his life. Prosecutors say K gave Skaggs counterfeit oxycodone pills that contained fentanyl. Mike Trout had this to say about his former teammate. "He made a big impact on my life and this team. It doesn't change the feeling I have for him and the way he impacted my life." Oscar Taveras was a stud in the minor leagues, winning 2 batting titles as well as Minor League Player of the Year for the St. Louis Cardinals in 2012. He was nicknamed El Fenomeno by the Cardinal fanbase, and he showed a lot of promise, homering in his Major League debut and in his last at-bat, which came in Game 2 of the NLCS against the Giants. Later that month, Taveras and his girlfriend died in a car crash in his native country of the Dominican Republic. Taveras was only 22 years old. It was later discovered that the crash was due to Taveras being drunk and traveling at a high rate of speed. While friend and fellow Dominican Yordano Ventura paid tribute to Taveras in 2014 by writing his initials and jersey number on his hat in Game 6 of the 2014 World Series, no one knew that Ventura would meet the similar fate. Ventura was a reliever for the Kansas City Royals and was known for his electric fastball. He was home one day in the Dominican Republic during the offseason of 2017 when his car flipped and Ventura passed away before help could arrive. Ventura was only 25 years old. His Dominican teammate, Andy Marte, was in a separate crash in the Dominican Republic on the same day, though Marte crashed into a house. He was only 33 years old. The baseball world was shaken by these 2 losses, only hours apart from one another. A 2015 study by the World Health Organization found that the Dominican Republic had the highest traffic accident death rate in the Americas. John McSherry umpired in the big leagues for 25 seasons. He was a well-respected umpire by most players. On April 1st, 1996, everyone was gearing up for a great game. And then suddenly, McSherry called timeout and walked towards the backstop and collapsed. Panic ensues as multiple doctors worked to resuscitate him, but it was to no avail. John McSherry would pass away at the age of 51. McSherry dealt with many health problems that could have been attributed to his weight. He was one of a few umpires that were noticeably overweight, and his death was caused by a massive heart attack caused by a coronary artery disease. After his death, Major League Baseball compelled umpires to be more physically fit. This was a heartbreaking death that stuck with many baseball fans for years. On August 29, 2019, Linda Goldblum was attending a game between the Dodgers and Padres when she was suddenly struck in the head by a foul ball while sitting in the stands. Unfortunately, the netting was not able to protect her due to the fact she was sitting just above it. She would leave the stadium in an ambulance and was unresponsive for 3 days following the injury. She would ultimately succumb to the injuries 4 days later. This led to wide-scale changes for Major League Baseball when it came to netting. Though there was never a rule put in place mandating teams adjust, most improved their netting down the first and third baselines. This was a tragic end to a mother of 3 celebrating her birthday and wedding anniversary. Hopefully, nothing like this happens in baseball ever again. Well, that's our list for the most heartbreaking moments in Major League Baseball history. And though some of these events are hard to discuss, some of them have led to changes for the better. If you're a fan of Major League Baseball and like what you've just seen, make sure you smash the like button and subscribe to our channel for more baseball videos just like this.
And joining us in front of the New York Mets dugout,